Yeah. Mm-hmm. Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome weekend, taking care of yourselves, staying healthy, staying positive, doing well with all of your pursuits in life. Well, I'm happy to have you back, and life just throws you curveball after curveball, and you just got to keep rolling with it and having fun. So that's what we're doing, baby, because you never know how long you got on this spinning rock, and we're just going to have a good time. So, how's your weekend? Is it excellent? Is it everything you thought it would be? It's hard to squeeze everything in, isn't it, man? You try to do everything you can, try to get in all the exercise, walks, pet tasks, hobbies, all the honey-do list stuff that you got, even if it's your own honey-do list. And it's hard to squeeze everything in, but go easy on yourselves. Everybody's just trying to do the best that they can. Don't be too hard on yourself. That's the lesson of the weekend. So, since we're getting into Halloween, I wanted to find, something that was more Halloween-based. And so I think I found something that's similar, good enough, close enough. We have a reptilian abduction case that we're going to talk about, and I think it's going to generate some conversation, and that's what it's always about. So, again, if you guys have any interest in providing, a topic that you guys want me to do a podcast on, please let me know. I'll do it. Most likely, if it's a good idea, I'm definitely interested. I've been in the game for 4.5 years doing podcasting, but I've been doing researching for over 30. So, it's definitely fun for me, and I'm continually learning even today. So, because we have more and more abductions, we have more and more alien encounters, we have more and more crashed ships and whistleblowers coming up. So this particular event is called the Reptilian Alien Dreams and Physical Abduction of an Experiencer. So in this particular story, the experiencer had several dreams with some physical elements that woke him, and it left him wondering if they were actually dreams or if they were real encounters with reptilian beings. And this started when he was a child. Now that's what's interesting to me, is because I have had my own experiences, and a lot of times you can't really tell all the time if it's a dream or real, at least for me. Some people, they're like, it's 100% real. I know for a fact it was real. Or it was 100% a dream. I know it was a dream. What's been really interesting in my dreams, particularly lately, is that I've been having really vivid dreams that in the dream, it's real. It's as real as it gets. I mean, it's so vivid, and I can do a few things, and I have some control, but not total control. And they say, when you're having a dream, look up to see if you can find a clock, or see if you can pinch yourself, or find some kind of detail that you should be able to answer. And that was something that was interesting in one of my most recent dreams, was that I was unable to recall the name of a celebrity that was in my dream. And I was like, I could recall the fact that he was a celebrity and he was on a show, but I couldn't remember the show, and I couldn't remember his name or the character's name in the show. So I thought that was funny, and that was like a dead giveaway after I had woken up. Not in the dream, but after I'd woken up. So let's talk about these lizard men that this individual stated was visiting him when he was a child. He stated, when I was a child, I would dream that lizard men were taking me out of the house and into a light into the sky. These dreams would happen a few times a month. When I got older, I had a dream about a reptilian male introducing himself. I asked him if he was their leader, and I got words in my brain that he was the commander and that he was on a military scientific expedition. He explained that I would see him again soon, and I remember waking up thinking I had a cool dream. When I noticed my feet were dirty and there were leaves and some mud from walking around outside barefoot, that freaked me out a bit. Well, right then and there, you know it's not a dream. Unless you're sleepwalking, and you have capability to get outside. In that case, you could put up some cameras and you could make sure you're not sleepwalking. Maybe you could put up some cameras if you think you're being abducted. Maybe you can capture something on camera. I seriously doubt it. I bet you what you're going to find is that you're going to have some missing time or some static on that camera when they were abducting you. Nonetheless, I think it's a good idea, especially if you think you're an abductee. Put some cameras up in your house. Put some cameras in your room. If you don't want to put them all over your house, that's fine. Put it just in your room and just turn it on at night, So he stated that in high school, I met someone, and as we got close, she told me that she would also have dreamt about a lizard person who told her that he was a commander and actively monitoring the planet. She described him as exactly as I have seen him. He wore a chest plate of armor with metallic-looking sleeves and metallic-looking boots. Even the ship he came in looked the same. Both of us described it as a short cigar-looking object. Damn, those motherfuckers always riding around in them cigar-shaped craft, aren't they? Sons of bitches. Ah, man, I can't believe it. They're the ones driving around the cigar-shaped craft. Oh, no, wait, they're the ones driving around and flying around in the triangles. Oh, no, wait, those are ours. See, that's where it gets so goddamn confusing, is that we have reports of reptoids being in triangles, reptoids now being in cigar-shaped objects, reptoids being in smaller triangles. It's so fucking confusing. But nonetheless, we know the general shape of a lot of these craft. Triangle, cigar, flying saucer. Flying saucer typically are going to be, what? The Greys. And they're typically going to be either working for the reptilians or they're going to be one of the Grey species that are on their own and evolved. So we're starting to narrow it down, but even when we narrow it down, it seems like there's just these one-off instances where there's a different ship associated with a different species. It's really confusing. So in another dream that happened sometime after I was reading about the Draconians online, I asked this commander if they came from a planet orbiting a star in the Draco constellation, and he said they have colonies in that direction. There was a dream in which I was brought inside a ship and asked to put my hand on a weird plate-looking object. On it was a yellow golden orb-looking object. One of the reptilians asked me to move it by thought, and it lifted up. He told me to think about it moving in any direction, and it would move in any direction I wanted it to be. Very good. The reptilian explained to me that it was used as a probe and could collect information. I was dropped off outside and later woke up in my bed. I ended up seeing some leaves and mud by the door that I entered in later that night. My parents also commented on the unusual burning smell that morning. Interestingly enough, that's what reptilians leave behind. They leave behind that sulfuric smell, don't they? Years later, I would encounter another abductee mentioning these orbs that had a yellow-gold color. These beings have spoken both verbally and telepathically. One female reptilian gave her name as Ezra. Another reptilian said that our civilization isn't the only less advanced civilization that they monitor. So they're calling us less civilized than they are. Well, who's the one abducting who? Bitches, you guys are. Okay, so a couple of things about this. Number one, I've had a number of dreams involving UFOs that were masked, that were translucent, that were unable to be seen unless they revealed themselves in the sky. I've dreamt that a triangle has landed in my backyard, my parents' backyard, and abducted me, and I think my sister as well. I've had all kinds of dreams. I believe them to be dreams. However, there was an abduction event, a believed, supposed abduction event, where I went through a wall. And I was very young. And I was outside of my grandparents' farmhouse. And that's where I ended up after the abduction event. And I was locked out. And I'm screaming, hollering. It's 1:30 or, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what time it was. It was late because the moon was up high and it was bright. And I was pounding on the walls of my grandparents' house trying to get in. I couldn't open the door because the way the door was open, it was an old farmhouse, and the way the door closed, it would close into this like kind of wedge in between the concrete of the stoop and the concrete of the house, so it would fall into it, and then they could lock it. And it was impossible for some young person to lift up and unlock from the outside. Had to unlock it from the inside. My mom saw me and finally heard me and got me in, and was freaking out. And to this very day, she remembers it and tells me. And she's 70, 76, 77. So it's not made up, real story. And I have not undergone hypnotic regression because, well, I don't know if I want to know. Once you know, you know. I mean, it's in there somewhere. Whether I just floated outside on my own or I was abducted by some species, but I don't know if I want that information into my consciousness. And some people can't help it. Some people, they just have it. They remember it. Some people have to undergo hypnotic regression. And so when it comes to these stories of these dreams that these people have, you could end up saying it's a dream, or you could end up saying that it's real, and that it's just been kind of fogged over by either the reptilian species or by their consciousness in a defense mechanism to save them, their sanity, that kind of thing. What's interesting here is that most of the reptilians that I've heard of, people have never been able to recall what they're wearing. They're either wearing like a skin suit, very similar to, just very thin suit, doesn't look like ancient armor from like the 1500s that we would have had in the Dark Ages, some sort of knight armor. But that's what they're saying that this guy had. This commander had some big armor, a chest plate, and then he had metallic looking boots, a chest plate of armor with metallic looking sleeves. This guy was dressed for battle. Many times, reptilian species are known to be a warrior species, almost like the Spartans were. A warrior first, and your whatever extra job you're going to have second. So you train for battle every day, and then your hobby at night or whatever in the afternoon is your other job, your second job. So that's the way this species seems like they are. Warriors first, and then, if there's time, then you do your hobby, whatever that might be. And that might be your second job. But you're a warrior first. But they also have to have science and science capabilities in order to fly from their planet to other planets. And they're monitoring, quote-unquote, lesser civilized species. Not just us, but other ones as well. And if they are a warrior species, then are they monitoring us for our warrior capabilities first and foremost? Or are they monitoring us for destroying our own planet if we are doing that? Or if the planet's viable for some sort of resource that they need? Why are they monitoring us? Are they monitoring humans? Are they monitoring pandas and giraffes and lions and zebras too? That's what's always interesting to me. I mean, of course, we always think of ourselves as number one, numero uno, and we have the most destructive capability with our weapons. But there's other species out there that are perfectly capable of living and being an interesting species nonetheless. They're not able to build homes like we can, but, I mean, hell, I was just reading up on gorillas and how strong they are, and how people were like, well, how come we're not as strong as gorillas? Well, gorillas typically die by 40, and they have a chemical within them that allows the myostatin to stay in its most powerful format. Myostatin allows muscles to regenerate, to grow, and myostatin allows people to become stronger. So if you can have a higher level of myostatin in your blood, you can become a bigger bodybuilder. So there's actually research that's gone into that, and there's medications, there's all kinds of things that go into it so that folks can regenerate that. And they can take medications to do that. But you got to get it, however you get it. But the gorillas, they have it in abundance, far more in abundance than we do. So if we are a genetic farmer race, whoever made us and made us from the primates, they made us less powerful, less strong physically by far, minus the power lifters and minus the God-given genetics of certain people. The vast majority of us are not, as strong as gorillas are. They can easily rip off the door of, a Jeep or, any vehicle. They just have tremendous power. So they made us to be weaker. Isn't that interesting? Now, if we can make ourselves to be stronger, would that take away from our intellectual capabilities? Does more strength equal less intelligence? Can we balance it with our DNA and our CRISPR technology to fight off these reptilians or any other species that's going to cause us problems in the future? I don't know. But anyway, we got to get stronger. We got to get better. We got to not be the fattest country on the planet. We got to change the diet. We got to change everything about the way that we're living. Because god dang, I like my ice cream and I like my chocolate, but man, middle age, it seems like almost now it's hard as shit to lose the weight, man. I used to lift and I used to be big, not big, but big enough and strong enough. And if you give it up for a couple of years, you have kids and stuff like that, you try to get back into it, it's not the same. And by the time you hit 40, 45, you're not the same as you were when you were 27. It goes down. You do not have the same strength. I don't care what people say. Unless they're bulking up on roids, it's not the same. So these guys, these reptilians, not only have they been reported to live much longer than we do, but they're also much taller, much stronger. And we're going to have to be that if we're ever going to stand a chance to fight against them. And that's what I was talking about in my last podcast. Individuals who are naturally big, can we take their DNA and utilize that and manipulate it so that we can become naturally taller, naturally stronger, not screw up our DNA, then take the DNA from individuals who are highly intelligent and utilize that and figure out, hey, is there some sort of DNA that can help us maximize our brain tapping potential? And I'm not, I don't want people to be not unique or not, natural, naturally themselves. I'm just saying, hey, how can we maximize everything that we can in order to be the best species that we can? Because we know, if you eat the right foods, you can become more intelligent, stronger, better, faster. But if you eat the wrong foods, you can block your brain, you can block your physical capability, you can block a lot of things. So the more chemical intelligence that we acquire, the better off we're going to be. Okay, guys. Well, what do you think about this? Have you ever been abducted by a reptilian? If so, contact an attorney. No, just kidding. It's not funny. It's serious, and we need to come together and get more information on this. I think that this is wild because this dude was wearing basically like knight armor, and I want to find out more. I'm going to try to gather some more intel. So let's get into it. Hopefully you guys can leave a comment or two and let me know what you think. Thanks again to Jessica, Sam, Ed. I know I'm missing a few other people, so I'll try to comment next time. And please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I love bringing you the podcast. So take care of yourselves, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Until next time, guys, take care. Lockdown Universe out. Peace.